So there are lots of horror games out there, but none are more controversial than games in the Anomaly horror subgenre. You know the ones, usually a looping hallway, or a room, or a train if you somehow make like 8 of these into a franchise.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? Can you...
If you find anything spooky in your run, you turn back, /push a button, or identify it somehow. Do it enough times in a row, and you win. Most of the time these games are considered streamer bait, which, given their simplicity, reliance on jump scares, and just general low polish, is an apt, if not sometimes oversimplification of their subject matter, which happens with most horror media. Usually a great idea has very middling execution. Good enough for a 2-hour stream of someone screaming at a monitor, but not enough to captivate me. Enter the Cabin Factory. The concept is simple. You work at the Cabin Factory, who create realistic horror attractions. There's rumors about them being haunted, so it's your job to inspect each one and decide if there truly are other beings in them. Featuring over 30 unique cabins, a simple yet layered narrative, plenty of creative scares, and more. With all that out of the way, let's analyze some cabins, find the hidden story of the factory, and see what makes the Cabin Factory Anomaly horror done well. The Cabin Factory, or TCF for short, was developed by a small indie team split between Spain and Japan named International Cat Games, and published by Future Friends, usually a publisher that sticks to cozy and or more aesthetically pleasing type games, that decided to take a little risk in publishing the Cabin Factory, a risk that ended up paying off. With over 50,000 copies sold in a matter of days, plenty of big content creators covering it, and the fandom building up, TCF found success quickly, and a big part of that is the premise itself. I've played many horror games over the years, so the fact that once in a while a game comes out with a premise that makes me go, whoa, that's cool, is a testament to their creativity. The premise only gets you so far, however, so how's the actual game?
Movie and theme park industries. Starting today, you will be one of our cabin inspectors.
The game begins in an elevator, with an announcer briefly explaining your objective and what this company does, which we already covered. As the doors open, you're treated to a pitch black room with a control panel illuminated in the center. Approaching it reveals a really cool diegetic way of showing your objectives and your progress, with the instructions being clearly visible at all times, and the numbered pips at the top being your progress bar. Get 8 cabins in a row correct, and you win. There's also a secret ending, but we'll talk about that later. The only thing I want to highlight in these instructions is the very bottom line, where it says movement is considered an anomaly. So creepy pictures are okay, moving creepy pictures are not okay. The lights turn on and the first cabin arrives. The very first cabin you enter will show you what I'll refer to as the base template for future cabins. It has a short entrance hall, a living room with a fireplace, whatever that is, a bed in the corner, and a painting of a woman, followed by another hallway with a door on our left, a dining table where a man is sitting, and stairs going up into the attic, where you can see a frog plushie, a TV, and what looks like to be a covered puppet doll. Sus. The cabin has a very simple layout, and most things are very easy to remember, which makes later scares all that more creative. This one is clear, so let's call the next cabin. As you're effectively still in the tutorial quote-unquote part of the game, the second cabin you enter will always be haunted, with the doll upstairs moving its little legs around.
Wiggling my toesies right now.
After the first 2 cabins are done, good luck, Inspector.
The brutal fire that burned a family alive took place in an isolated cabin in the woods.
Here's a little twist TCF doesn't tell you. Your very first playthrough, aka before you win a single time, is where you'll hit various narrative beats. Some of these will always happen in a set sequence, but others are random and can happen at any time. The first you'll find is a radio. Fire was reported in a cabin in the woods, where a family of 4 lived, a father, a mother, and their 2 children. As the fire department deals with the flames, they find the body of the parents, trapped in the cabin, but no sign of the children. Foul play is suspected, i.e. the fire was intentional and an investigation is underway in hopes of finding the children. Pro tip, audio doesn't count as an anomaly either, so creepy sounds are a-okay. In a very creative sequence, you can find a smaller maquette of the cabin, with a red person and someone else. Visually, other than the maquette, you can't see the entity, forcing you to see its whereabouts through its location in the maquette itself. Pretty cool. You can safely leave the cabin if you avoid contact with it. And yes, you can die in this game, making all your progress reset, so don't die. The next narrative segment happens a couple cabins later. It starts normally, but as you get to the attic and start making your way back, hello there. Uh-oh. Entering the now open door, you find yourself in the cabin's basement. In the corner sits the mother with the boy. Entering the bathroom at the end of the basement, you can see wall scratches with a boy's name and a girl's name above them. Greta and Hans, a clear reference to Hansel and Gretel. This also confirms that the parents would lock their kids down here as punishment for days on end. As the door locks, you can look in the mirror to find that you're Greta now, reliving her traumatic experience with her mother. She emotionally abuses Greta into staying, guilt-tripping her into staying because of her brother.
But your brother will stay here, and he will not be happy when he hears you abandoned him.
As the door opens again, the mother faces you and starts fucking jogging. Holy crap, yeah, this one is definitely haunted. So I have to admit something to you. This footage you've been seeing was literally my very first attempt, and I accidentally won. If you try to walk outside after winning, you're treated to a little screen, and what the fuck is going on right now? Wait, that can't be it. All of a sudden, you're transported to a normal-looking house. The vibes are cozy, the credits are rolling. You've done well for your first day. Too bad you're not done. Yeah, fuck that. So that's ending 1. And as you can see, I still have over 30 freaking cabins to go. From here on out, you have to explore every single cabin variant to get the secret ending. Before that though, I wanna rant about something that bothers me in these types of games. You mess up once, your entire progress gets reset. I understand why this is done, otherwise these games would be total 10 minutes long without much replay value. However, I think this is one of the things that make the Anomaly subgenre so repetitive. Even games like Captured, for example, gave you an extra mechanic to play with to keep you engaged in the form of your batteries. Now, I know some people just think Anomaly horror are glorified PT clones, but honestly I see the potential for a lot more to these games than Cabin is spooky, yes or no? That's the reason I'm highlighting TCF in particular, as it has more to offer than your traditional spooky slop. In order for this mechanic to be fixed, the Anomaly genre needs a different groundwork to build off of. If you're tailoring your game to be one and done, there won't be much you can do to make the experience longer that won't feel like needless padding. What if you combine the Anomaly horror subgenre with the procedural generation of something like, I don't know, Spooky's Jumpscare Manor? That way, you can have specific tailored story or gameplay sections, alongside keeping the randomness aspect that makes these games so popular in the first place. Currently, having your progress completely wiped because we missed what is usually a very well-hidden anomaly feels awful, as we don't learn anything that could help us improve next time. There was no hint, no sign of where we went wrong, nothing. Just this wasn't an issue on the player's part, it was the game punishing the player for not being aware of a certain specific moment that can happen in the middle of 35 other moments that can all make you go back to square zero. That's the tricky part. Most anomalies are either very obvious, like the girl opening the basement door, or the hand under the bed. My personal favorite has to be the double whammy of walking into a cabin, seeing the father in the window, then the cabin right after he chases you out of it. Actually nightmare fuel. Then you have ones that to this day I still don't know what they are. I just did the process of elimination and eventually beat the game. My point is, we like getting spooked, but we don't like feeling that we have to crawl back to where we were just because of one mistake. That's it, rant over. What were we on about? Oh yeah. At the heart of TCF lies the story of the family, with most of the scares being fragments of the story that happened in this particular cabin, being recreated by this awful company as an attraction. As you explore the remaining cabins, you'll find lots of pieces that fit an entire narrative. Greta being locked in the bathroom, switching between your character and Greta, hint hint, a body of a child being dragged across the floor, a brief 911 call, and one of them even burns down, with you going outside and seeing the children looking at their deeds. After you complete all the cabins, you're treated to another different type of ending. Don't mind the balloons, I might have won like twice before this. Aw yeah, it's a party baby! Even the people in the window evaluating me are having a blast. As the words employee of the month come down, you're approached by hazard suit wearing people and kidnapped. Alright, I'm gonna peel off the band-aid right now. Okay, you ready? Greta is our protagonist. This whole thing is a recreation of Greta's traumatic childhood, and now she gets to relive it through haunted cabins. How do I know? Well, funnily enough, taking a look at the Steam achievements will show you that you have 4 different Face Your Past style achievements, one for each character. These are random and can only trigger in very specific cabins. The one with the mother outside, Greta under the stairs, father behind the window, or Hounds without the tarp on top of him in the attic. Each of these segments peel back the narrative further. Greta's father was very absent, but his absence led way to a very unhappy and tumultuous home.
How can an empty presence enable and inflict so much suffering?
Her mother was abusive towards her kids.
I'm not your daughter anymore. You can't hurt me.
Hans unfortunately didn't make it.
You didn't deserve this. I swear I tried to protect you.
It is currently unknown what happened to Hans specifically, as the last thing we saw of him was him holding his sister's hands as the cabin burnt down. And as for Greta herself, she was the one that came up and executed this plan.
Everything is gonna be fine. But we have to get away from them.
There are other smaller details that help this theory. In the basement bathroom section, if you look at the mirror, you'll see your characters switch between old Greta and young Greta, as they both struggle to keep their mother out. Because, you know, they're the same person! Ending 1 shows you a glimpse into the life of Greta when she gets older. She has a nice apartment and clearly lives comfortable. The cabin, however, is constantly in the back of her head, no matter how much she tries to shut it away. Ending 2 is what I believe to be the true ending of the game, and further confirmation that the cabin factory is part of something much bigger. The question now is, what was the point of this? Was it just an experiment? Are these cabins an SCP? Is Greta an SCP? For now, these questions will remain a mystery. And if the success of the cabin factory is anything to go off of, this won't be the last time we'll be hunting anomalies, and it won't be the last time International Cat Studios will show us a new creative spin on the genre. I'm excited for what they'll create next, as the potential here is honestly kind of insane. But until then, give the cabin factory a whirl. A full playthrough is about 1 hour long and it's only 4 buckaroos on Steam. This team definitely deserves your support, as it's without a doubt one of the most creative Anomaly horror games out there. Thank you all so much for watching. Please consider giving this video a like and do subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. My name's Fire, and I shall see you next time.